It's 10 minutes past 9, and we would sincerely want to apologize for starting this program behind schedule. It was due to unforeseen circumstance, and we're here for you. As usual on Tuesdays, we get to talk about your health, and I have two doctors in the house. For the whole of this week, this will be it started yesterday. We have been talking about breastfeeding. So we obviously know that it's breastfeeding week, from the news, from all the reports around, from the activities. We have seen that there is something ongoing about breastfeeding. So good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on Good Morning Plateau. And in commemoration of 2026 World Breastfeeding Week, we're joined by, like I said, two ladies. Of course, they can talk about it better. I have Dr. Christabel Haruna. She is of the Department of Pediatric Medicine, Jos University Teaching Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Christabel.
Good morning, Plateau.
And I'm excited to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
And with Dr. Christabel, we have Dr. Hope Aga, also of the same department of Pediatric Medicine, Jos University Teaching Hospital. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
And I'm sure this is your first time. Yes. So relax and let's enjoy our conversation this morning. We're here to discuss breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life, why it matters. We'll also look at the myths surrounding breastfeeding and how we can support mothers to breastfeed their children. I'm sure a lot of women, especially starters, always find it difficult to breastfeed their children. Some just decide not to just breastfeed the children. I don't want anything to happen to my breast, so I've decided not to breastfeed. So we're going to look at all this morning. But we'll start by considering the fact that breastfeeding is the best. We have been told they contain all the nutrients a baby needs. So what are the immediate what does that mean in simple terms, breastfeeding?
Okay. Breastfeeding in simple terms, it's a way of feeding a baby, mother using her breast. So that's breastfeeding, feeding with the breast, right? And then what the breast produce is the breast milk, right? So the breast milk contains all the nutrients that is needed for the baby. Contains the water, the nutrients, everything. In short, even our breast milk substitute don't have the nutrients that the natural breast milk have.
And it's in the exact quantity, right?
Yes. And so they're trying to make it close to breast milk, but up till now, as at today, none.
What I meant was that breast milk comes with the exact quantity of everything.
Yes,
the child needs.
Water, everything is inside.
And you said everything is intact.
Yes.
And some women sometimes have difficulties in lactating, or even have enough breast milk for the child. In such situation, what does the child do, or the mother do, to have enough of that breast milk?
So we encourage breastfeeding. Just as I've mentioned earlier, it contains all the nutrients. In this breast milk, there are antibodies that the mother transfer to the baby during breastfeeding, which protects the baby against infection and against other opportunistic infection. So it protects the baby. And then apart from that, even the bonding for the mother and the child, there's bonding through the breastfeeding. So it contains everything in the exact amount.
Okay, Dr. Agana, she said it contains everything, but we still find women who resist breastfeeding, and sometimes even the babies choose not to feed the milk from the mother. So what are, for that person listening now, what are the immediate and long-term benefits of the child, for the child and the mother?
Okay, when we talk about breastfeeding, there are lots of reasons why we encourage breastfeeding. In fact, when a woman gets pregnant and begins antenatal care, the education for breastfeeding is already started at that time. So, because we know the numerous advantages of breastfeeding, it has advantages in the mother, in the baby, and even in the nation as a whole.
Yeah. Even the father.
Yes, this is the father.
Pocket-wise.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So you see, for the babies, breastfeeding, like my colleague said, that bonding, first and foremost, that bonding between mother and child is established with breastfeeding. Also, breastfeeding contains a lot of antibodies that have been transferred from the mother to the baby to protect baby against things like upper respiratory tract infections and all, especially as baby is developing diarrhea disease and all. Also, for the mother, breastfeeding, particularly this year when we are celebrating the breastfeeding week this year, their focus mainly is on postpartum hemorrhage, and I want to explain that breastfeeding can actually help to prevent bleeding after birth, in simple terms.
Yes.
So that's one of the very good advantages of breastfeeding. That is why it is advised that mothers should put the babies to breast at least from 1 hour after birth. To the father, the cost of infant formula, we know that we can't get anyone less than 10,000 naira.
Yes.
So what do you do? So when you have something natural that you can give to your baby and easily accessible, you don't need to wash you don't need to expose a child to dirty cups, spoons and all that can cause diarrhea. You're always available and with no cost. Why not that? To save the cost of buying infant formula.
So, okay. And Dr. Christopher,
Yes, I think for the mother, even her recovery
after birth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, when you breastfeed, especially exclusive breastfeeding. Exclusive breastfeeding is the breastfeeding alone, just breast milk for the first 6 months. That's what we advocate for. Then after that, you can introduce complementary feed and supplementary feed. But for the first 6 months, breast milk alone. So for the mother, it helps a lot during her recovery. And then even going back to shape. So this means that people talk about your breast sagging if you breastfeed. I think it's a myth. I don't think we should still hold on to that, because whether you like it or not, with age, what happens is that your breast will sag with age. So whether you breastfeed or you don't breastfeed, it will still sag. So why not give the benefits to your baby for the growth of this baby, for even developmental, even the brain, for it to develop well, it needs the breast milk. So why deny your child that opportunity?
Whatever you do, as long as you're standing, you get tired.
Yes.
So even the breast gets tired of standing, and as you age, it also begins to age. Oh, okay. So I knew while I was breastfeeding in those years, one of my challenges was the issue of cracked nipple. So what are those challenges that women tend to face when they are breastfeeding? Some women are even scared of that because of such challenges. What are those challenges, and how can the woman navigate through such challenges?
Okay, there are actually lots of challenges breastfeeding. Apart from cracked nipples, the pain. That first feeding after delivery, there's usually that pain, but you need the pain so that your uterus will be able to contract. So it's just a mild pain that you can tolerate. And then for cracked nipples, you can have cracked nipples from mostly cracked nipples and sore nipples. They're usually from improper latching. When the baby does not latch very well, that's when you tend to have all those cracked nipples and then sore nipples. But as you breastfeed with time, it's just a matter of time. You can take analgesic for that. You understand? You can take analgesic for that, but you have to breastfeed. So proper breastfeeding technique will help to avoid cracked nipples. Then apart from that, the time is quite stressful. In the night, instead of you sleeping, you have to wake up about 4 or 5 times to breastfeed. That's quite stressful. So that discourages a lot of women from breastfeeding. And they will say, okay, let the men also help. As a woman, you can use a pump, breast pump, to express the breast milk and keep it in a fridge. you can actually keep it in a fridge, and then maybe at night your mother, your husband can help to feed the baby, just to reduce the stress and then the time, the requirement for feeding. Then apart from that too, you also need to position yourself. Sometimes you can have back pain, shoulder pain from breastfeeding, so we encourage that the mother should breastfeed in a way that is comfortable. She should sit comfortably, then draw the baby to herself to avoid all those things that could the pain that she could have from breastfeeding. Then I think one of the major problem, apart from the time, the other thing is that some people say it somehow, the main thing when you want to breastfeed, especially in boys, everybody be looking at you, just bring it. So that's community. In that community, we should advocate, and then we should create awareness that the baby needing is the best for the baby, is the best.
And someone who has cracked nipples, what does such a person do? How does someone handle that? Maybe Dr. Aga will answer that.
Okay. Like she said, you can take analgesics, and first of all, you must know how to position your baby. That's what causes cracked nipples most times, because the baby is not holding on to the breast.
The baby is learning as well.
Exactly. So it can cause that. So once you learn how to do that properly, for the pain, you can take analgesics, and also you can express your breast milk. If the pain is very severe, like she said, you have to express your breast milk, which you can give intermittently to the baby to help for relief. At least you have some moments of relief. And also, if it's very severe, it's something that you can walk into the hospital so that they look at it. So if it's something else, they can examine it properly. If it's something else, they will abscess from it, so that they will take care of it. Yes.
I remember I was told while I was having those cracked nipples, the only solution they told me was to just keep breastfeeding. I went to but I had to just keep doing it, and that actually was the solution. The baby was suckling, and then the baby got used to it, he learned how to do it, and the healing just came from there. So I think that's the treatment. It comes with pain, but for just a while.
I think I forgot to mention something. For some women, they don't lactate, so for those, we give them emotional support. Breast milk production has also to do with your psychology, your emotional state at that moment. If a woman is depressed, not happy, she tends not to produce enough breast milk to breastfeed the baby. So that's why she needs support from her family, from her husband, and from the community, just to stimulate her to be happy, to be able to produce enough breast milk. So it's very, very important that first of all, you ensure she has all the support from her husband, from her family. Make her happy, she'll produce the breast milk. If that doesn't work, then we say reduce stress, because you're not sleeping, you're tired, you won't have enough breast milk. Then apart from that, if that doesn't still work, then you come to the hospital. We can actually give you 1 or 2 things to help breast milk production.
Now I understand why there's need for that omega, the mother comes, because the woman will be stressed at that particular period, thinking of the baby, thinking of herself, and of course she needs extra hands around her. And you talked about women who are not lactating well. What must they do? What must they be given so that they would have enough breast milk for the baby?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Aga. Then back to you, Dr. Christabel.
Okay, normally there are some basic things I will try to do first. If your mother is not lactating properly, first of all, we want you to be in a good emotional state, like my colleague has said, because that's very important in the production of breast milk. And also, we can also encourage mothers who are not lactating to have liberal fluid intake, a lot of fluid. You need to take in a lot of fluid. You need to eat. You see some women, they've not eaten, they've not taken water, but you expect to have breast milk. It doesn't work like that. So you need to have more fluid than even what you used to have before. You can take it in form of water, tea, liquids. A lot of it can also help in the production of breast milk. So now when we advise you to do all that, and also when you put the baby to breast intermittently, like let's say every 2 hours, it can also help for it to have sustained production of breast milk. So people will not breastfeed maybe from the beginning, and also it might also cause some issues. So now if that doesn't work, we can now go into maybe just a little bit of some medical supports, But most times we should advise women to actually drink a lot of water, eat, be in a good emotional state. It can always help to in the production of breast milk, especially in the first few days after birth. In the first few days after birth. So basically that's what we do. So when we get to that one, you have to be in the hospital. But if you're at home, liver feed intake, you have to eat. You have to take a lot of water, a lot of liquid.
Yes. When they come for Umugo, they'll tell you have to eat. You have to eat. They will make this dawa juice. I say take it. Yes, they know it.
And you talked about this after 2 hours. Do babies need to be timed when they are being breastfed?
Actually, babies don't need to be timed, but at most 2 hours. Yeah, we believe at most by 2 hours they will be hungry, but most babies don't even reach that 2 hours.
On demand. Yes, in fact, the baby, you don't even need to do that. Your baby will be the one to remind you. I need to eat. Yeah.
To add to that, actually, when you want to breastfeed, we encourage that you breastfeed for at least 30 minutes because the first part of the breast milk that comes out is water. That's why I said at the beginning that breast milk contains everything including water. So the first part that comes out is water. The main milk that will satisfy the baby and give the baby satisfaction it comes out after the watery part of the milk. So that's why you have to breastfeed for at least 30 minutes so that your baby will get the maximum nutrients that he need before switching to the next breast.
So now you understand why women need 6 months to be at home.
Yes.
Because if you have to take every 30 minutes to sit and feed the baby, then you need a break from work. Okay. Let's look at mothers who are sick, mothers with twins, and of course premature babies. Is breastfeeding these group of people possible? And how can someone handle that situation?
Breast milk is very, very possible. Very, very
for
possible.
Twins.
Yes. It's just that the mother will need to eat, and then she needs support. She needs to rest. She will produce. There are people that produce. We have breast milk bank. It's just that it's not readily available here in Nigeria, but we have breast milk bank where people can store their breast milk. So you can, most times breast milk production is in the morning, early hours of the morning. That's the maximum. The peak at night where you produce breast milk. So during that time, you can actually store some of the breast and keep for the day. You can express and keep for the day. Then eating, when you eat, some mothers will tell you that if I'm going out, I don't want to take too much food so that I will not just be producing breast milk anyhow in the outside. So it's possible for sick mothers. It's still possible, though in some rare circumstances when the mother is not psychologically stable, depressed, then we can talk about maybe breastfeeding being difficult. But as far as the baby is suckling, breast milk is produced when the baby suck. That's when the breast milk will produce. So it's possible even in sick mothers. Then in premature babies, it's very, very possible. Very, very possible.
So how do you feed a premature baby?
Yeah, for premature babies, it depends on how premature the baby is. For those that are very, very extremely very, very small, sometimes just to stimulate them, and then just a little is okay for them. They don't need much. It's as they grow bigger that they will need more of the breast. So it's just the mother's psychological state.
So at that age, can they actually suckle the mother?
They can't suckle because some of them are very, very small and weak that it can't be able to suckle. So we tell the mother to express. You keep on stimulating the breast, expressing, and then you have the colostrum. Don't forget that the colostrum, the first breast milk after delivery, is very, very rich in antibodies and nutrients.
Just to remember, when we're talking about premature babies, we are expecting that a premature baby is not at home.
Yeah.
A very small baby, what is not at home is still in the hospital being attended to, just so as to help the baby develop and get to a point where the baby can be at home. So that is in the hospital, how the baby is being fed with the breast milk is at least the mother will keep learning while the baby is there, but it's still very possible. The milk, most times the milk is being expressed, and the baby is being fed with the milk gradually on until they continue to develop, and then they are able to latch on the breast and properly and actually suckle by themselves.
In short, for premature babies, is breast milk, because the breast milk substitute can cause what we call necrotizing enterocolitis that can lead to that. So it's breast milk for them.
Okay. I remember I've seen hospitals where the baby, they use a syringe.
Yes, that's what we do. Yes.
To just feed the baby, since the baby cannot suckle.
Yes.
Okay. We've been having an interesting conversation this morning with Dr. Christopher Haruna and Dr. Hope Aga. Both of them are of the Department of Pediatric Medicine, Jos University Teaching Hospital. We're looking at the World Breastfeeding Week, which commenced yesterday. It will go through the week, and we're looking at all the advantages, the importance of breastfeeding, and why mothers should breastfeed babies. The theme for this week is breastfeeding for a sustainable start in life. Strengthen what works. Good Morning Plateau is coming to you courtesy the Nigerian Medical Association, Plateau State, and this morning our guests are from the Medical Women Association of Nigeria, N1, and they've said so much, encouraged the women out there. We will return after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Back to Good Morning Plateau Tuesday's edition. How do you have any specific activities across the state for this week as you mark Breastfeeding Week? Okay, Dr. Christopher.
All right. So for the Medical Women Association, we noticed that postpartum hemorrhage is a major cause of mortality. We have to do with women, so it's a major cause of mortality. So we are still looking at using breastfeeding as a very cheap means to reduce postpartum hemorrhage. So that's why we advocate for breastfeeding in the first few hours of delivery. It contracts the uterus, oxytocin is released, which contracts the uterus and reduces postpartum hemorrhage. Postpartum hemorrhage can be very, very severe. We have our doctors that we have lost from postpartum hemorrhage. So it's very, very cheap and it's feasible. So it's a very, very cheap and affordable method to reduce postpartum hemorrhage, that will reduce maternal mortality, because the major cause of maternal mortality is from postpartum hemorrhage. And then also for the growth of the baby, for the nutrition of the baby. So you can see that you're killing two birds with one stone when you practice breastfeeding.
Two birds with one stone. And are there any activities from N1? Maybe Dr. Aga, do we have any activities marked for the celebration of the week, the breastfeeding week? Okay, maybe Dr. Chris will recognize it.
Actually, the compulsory part is what we're doing here. The media engagement, sensitization, community awareness, reaching out to the public and then to the masses. So it's compulsory. That's what we're doing here. Then apart from that, there are webinars that will be going on within the week, and then community sensitization, advocacy, meeting stakeholders.
Meeting stakeholders,
yes, including employers, to allow women to breastfeed.
So what are those policies that you would want to see government apply to protect employers, to protect women in breastfeeding? Are there any policies that you think that should come up to to protect the breastfeeding mother?
Actually, the government has tried and is also trying. There are already policies in place, like the maternity leave that is given 6 months maternity leave. So the 6 month maternity leave is to encourage breastfeeding. Then apart from that, after you resume work, they usually give that leverage that you can close early so that you'll be able to go and breastfeed your babies. But government needs to do more. In the work environment, you can create daycare. There should be daycare in the work environment, or a work-friendly environment for breastfeeding mothers, where they can just go breastfeed their babies, come back and continue work. So government should make such available for employers. It should be mandatory for employers. You have a daycare or a place where a woman can go and breastfeed her child and then come back and resume her duty or responsibility.
Okay. And then let's look at the theme for this year. We talked about it. Let's understand it better with you, doctors in the house. Breastfeeding for sustainable starting life. What does that stand for? And then, of course, strengthen what works. Dr. Abba?
So breastfeeding for sustainable starting life, to strengthen what works, like we've been saying, the importance of breastfeeding cannot be overemphasized. It's something that we'll continue to talk about, to encourage, to make women understand, to make fathers understand, to make everybody understand, the whole family understand that breastfeeding of a baby is important. Like we said from the beginning, we need the mother alive to be able to breastfeed the baby. So we want to be able to sustain life for both the mother and the baby from the day of birth. So now for the mother, like we said, where we're focused on bleeding after birth, that's the postpartum hemorrhage. It's also something we're focused about because it's something that we know that breastfeeding helps with, and because postpartum hemorrhage is a leading cause of maternal mortality. So now if we want to sustain life in order to prevent maternal mortality from bleeding, breastfeeding is the way. So breastfeeding is something that we continue to emphasize. Is something that it's very protective for the baby. It reduces baby's exposure to illness and all. So it is something that we continue to talk about. It's something that sustains both the mother's life and the baby's life. It's cost effective and all. So that's why we continue to talk about it. How the importance of it. And
I'm sure the theme is clear now to our listener this morning. So it's time for you to be part of the conversation by calling us on 0812-588-6048. And I expect that more women will be calling this morning because it has to do directly with them. So let's see who our first caller is. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Inga Samuel.
Good morning.
Good morning, the two women doctors in the studio.
Good morning.
I am going to go calling from Panshi.
Okay, Gozo, I thought you'd allow your wife to call.
No, we like this. The father should be part of it.
Okay. Doctors are talking very well about breastfeeding rate. Breastfeeding rate is to survive and to grow. But my most concern is that we have been taking a lot of malnutrition due to lack of breastfeeding. The women should try to breastfeed their children for the first 6 months. I'm happy with the theme of the breastfeeding rate, which is breastfeeding for sustainable starting life. So women do not want anything to happen to their breast. That's why they want to breastfeed their children, if they need to change their mindset. The women in the rural area need to be aware and sensitized for them to know the importance of breastfeeding. The women need to breastfeed their children for the brain to develop. I'm happy for a woman not to take the issue of breastfeeding for granted. But the women use the fasted milk like the pig milk and others need to breastfeed their children instead of using their breast to breastfeed their children. The women should try to breastfeed their children so that we can get it right, for the children to have nutrients in their body. The issue of premature baby is due to malnutrition. We need to have strong children through breastfeeding. But my question to the two women doctors is that what are the effects of a woman who wants to breastfeed her child? And for how long will a woman continue to breastfeed her child? I want the two women doctors to clarify me on that. That is our opinion of the Inga and the two women doctors in the studio. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Gozo. What are the effects of a woman not breastfeeding her child? I think he asked like 3 questions. Yes. So the doctors are taking notes. Gozo, they would respond to you. 0812-588-6048 is the number. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. This is Monday Justin from Paniam.
Okay, Monday, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to ask this question, please. For a lactating mother who breastfeeds her child for less than the required period of 2 years, does she tend to face any health challenge? If yes, what could that health challenge be? Thank you.
Okay, doctors, did you get the question? Okay, all right. Thank you, Monday. You would have a response from the doctors in the house real soon. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Isaac. It's a radio speaker from Jos East.
Isaac, your voice is it doesn't sound like you this morning.
Yes.
You have a cold.
Actually,
You have a cold.
I have a call this morning.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I've listened to the doctors in the studio. They have spoken very well about the importance of breastfeeding. I don't know, I have seen few women, do I say they are breathless,
Okay.
don't have breath on their chest.
Mm.
And I wonder how, if they give birth to a child, if such kind of a woman gives birth to a child, what will happen? How will she breastfeed the lady? I mean the child. Then the second question I have is, some people say that breastfeeding is natural. Now some people say that those children that are not breastfed by their mothers tend to perform poorly in academics. Is that true? I want to know from the two female doctors in the studio. Thank you very much. You have a nice day and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. We needed to talk about the myths associated with breastfeeding. And thank you for bringing this up, Isaac. They would address that in a moment. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining. Who do we have on the line and where are you calling from?
Thank you very much. Crankcase Captain calling you from Kushuk, majority leader.
Okay, Crankcase, go ahead.
I want to appreciate the effort of our guests this morning. We have some women that they don't want to lose their breast. They don't want their breast to be flat. I get in my point.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, Crankcase, go ahead.
Yes. So they used to give their children nannies. Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. We hope that you call us back, Crankcase, 0812-588-6048. We'd love to hear from you. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This in the house, the presenter. Good morning, Chris Daniel, start calling.
Go ahead, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I think it's a good one today. One area that I've observed with women is the fact that this issue of breastfeeding, some of them have alluded to is the fact that some women don't sometimes want to give their children or the infant they needed, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, Chris, go ahead. We're here.
Yes, they don't want to give the needed milk, the breast to the child, because of the fact that some will say, I don't have the needed breast. Sometimes they feel pain, sometimes they will say that the breast is not forthcoming. What would be, then secondly is the fact that some women generally, as we have said, is the fact that they will tell you of the fact that they don't have time, they want to go this, they want to have other things, so the best thing is to buy artificial. In respect to artificial and the milk, what is the difference? Is it okay for a woman to give the artificial instead of the natural? The last but not least is the fact that we know that milk is very, very important. I think it is very, very important for a child to take milk from the breast. Then I think women down there that are listening to us should be able to do the needful. But the quite unfortunate thing here is the fact that some women, as I said, don't have time for that. So please and please, and I think we need to clear the air in respect to that, because I've had enough of that from women. Some women will tell you that this is this and this is that. There are some issues attached to it, and they will not want to have time for that. Please, we need to clear air on that. And I think if we can do that, it will help some women down there. Probably I have seen one of such. That is why I'm emphasizing this. And I think if we can emphasize and put it straightforward for women to get to know, it will help a lot. I think that is what I have for us these days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for your contribution on the program this morning. 0812-588-6048 is the number to call. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
This is Ambassador Carlos Lamarle from West Secondary School, Radio Senator.
Okay.
Breastfeeding is very important to a child. When I say a mother feeding a child, you see the child will be playing with the breast. There is a communication between the child and the mother. So there is proper development in terms of breastfeeding. At the same time, you will discover that breast education should be introduced to our churches and mosques, so that they will value the breastfeeding education that will help them to develop this child, because naturally the child will be protected with these antibiotics and there will be great usage of their brain. So what is the difference between the natural breastfeeding and this artificial feeding of milk production? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador Caleb. The difference between breast milk and baby formula, I think that's what he wants to know. Okay, this might be our last call. 0812 588
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
This is Namdi calling from Western. Good morning to the doctor.
Okay. Thank you. Now you go ahead.
Thank you so much. Doctors, I would want to know, the topic concerning postpartum depression is a reality women go through. In the event that this happens, how do you combine dealing with postpartum depression and breastfeeding a child as expected and needed for the growth of the child is concerned? Secondly, you've made emphasis on postpartum hemorrhage. And we know for a fact, like you said, that the help for it to come back or be restored to normalcy is for the woman to breastfeed the child. But there are situations where the mother gives that, and there is this pain that comes after birth. And it's always and often leads to when the child is being breastfed. Now, how can you handle that? I know for a fact, I'm speaking from experience, that it can be very, very, very painful. How will you now encourage a woman going through that to hold on until that pain goes away? And what is your own advice to the spouses of these women? Because the encouragement needed has to come from the person that is directly involved in the life of this child. To that, give that woman the needed push that she can do this, hold her hands and help in some things so that she can feel through this and also accommodate the child in this aspect. Good morning, and thank God for this week that women will really have the experience and the needed knowledge, because I can tell you for a fact, my 4 children were all breastfed for at least the first 6 months before introducing food, and I can see that in their life, even as adults in their 20s and their late teens. Thank you and have a good day. Good morning, Flash Yankee.
Thank you, Nai. Thank you. She's always, coming with strong points on the show. We appreciate your call, and it seems like she'll be the only woman calling on the show today. Okay, so let's get your responses as asked by our listener this morning.
Okay. Let me start with the first question on effect of breastfeeding. Effect on the woman if she does not breastfeed. If the woman, I think we didn't mention it. Apart from the bonding and attachment the mother has during breastfeeding, baby is looking into your eyes, you're looking into the baby's eye. There's an attachment and bonding that is natural. That nothing can
some kind of communication.
Yeah, it's a kind of communication. So that's it. It's on the positive side for the baby. Then apart from that, the breastfeeding, it helps in family planning for the mother. I think we didn't mention that. That's an advantage for the mother. So when you don't plan, so it's a natural method of family planning. That's the breastfeeding. Then apart from that, apart from the family effect on the mother too, breastfeeding also helps to protect against cancers. We didn't mention it, like breast cancer, endometrial cancer, and other cancers. So when you don't breastfeed, so these cancers have been linked to nulliparity. That's a woman that has not delivered or has not given birth. Because if you deliver, you're giving birth, you have less risks for those things. So it will protect you against those cancers. And then even for the child, some childhood cancers, and apart from childhood cancers, things like diabetes and other illnesses found in children. So breast milk will help to. It's a positive side for the baby, even if it will not be for you, but for the baby. Then for your own recovery too, the breast milk is very, very important. So when you don't breastfeed, then you will be on the negative side of all these things. And then for how long should you breastfeed? For how long? First of all, that exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months is it's in short, I don't know if it can be, you can say compulsory. Yeah, it's very, very important. Then apart from that, you can introduce breastfeeding. Well, for the time frame on when to cut off breastfeeding, there are different school of thought. But some will say at least to 2 years. But some will say 3 to 5 years. In short, some will even say 5 years. Well, 5 years the child is going to school, so you can't breastfeed. But at that, it is believed that from that 6 months, the child has gotten the maximum nutrients, and then the nutrients and the breast milk production after 6 months is dropping. You understand? So there's need for you to introduce complementary feed. So at that point, to 2 years, the child is breastfeeding. It's just for maybe attachment and other things, but the main nutrient is now the food and then other diets, not from the breast milk.
Okay, all right. Dr. Agana?
Yes, thank God that she mentioned it. I was also going to talk about, just to mention, I'll talk about breastfeeding. Yes, we are not just saying, okay, just breastfeed your child. We also want to emphasize the importance of exclusive breastfeeding, where you give only breast milk, not breast milk and water. Just breast milk has enough water that is sufficient for the baby, so you don't need to give breast milk and give water. So we encourage exclusive breastfeeding, only breast milk for the first 6 months, because that gives the maximum health benefits to both the mother and the baby. So that aside, the question on is breastfeeding beyond 2 years, and does it have any effects? She has already answered that. Not at all. So it's been encouraged. In fact, they said at least 3 years.
Yes.
So you can even go beyond that if you are capable of doing that, but at least 2 years, you can breastfeed the child. There's no health effect.
But to the baby, at that point, breast milk should not be the major food, because now you'll be talking of malnutrition.
Okay, yes. Not after the 6 months.
Yes, of course. We're not saying you should give only breast milk for 2 years. That's not what we are saying. We're only emphasizing only breast milk for the first 6 months. You cannot introduce other feeds from then going forward. And also, like someone asked about some people having small breasts. Now, this is one of the myths that we have when it comes to breastfeeding, along with other things. Now, it does not affect the production of breast milk. It does not affect how the child suckles the breast and whether the child is getting enough of the breast milk or not. It does not affect it at all. So that's actually a myth. That's actually something people believe in, but that's not the truth. It's not facts.
For her to be able to carry the baby, the hormones will produce the breast
milk. Okay.
So that does not count.
I think one of his concerns was the fact that they are women without breasts.
Yeah, but they have something. They can actually lactate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then how do they breastfeed? You know, you don't have breasts, so he was thinking how a woman without breasts would.
I mean, what I understood from what he said, if he said does not have breast, I don't understand.
She will have the woman must go hand in hand.
Okay.
Yeah, they go hand in
I don't
hand.
understand exactly what he meant by that, but I think possibly
Have breasts.
I think what he meant was maybe very flat, small breast. I think that's what he meant.
Okay, all right. And then how about those, I think that was Chris' question now, those who do not have enough milk, and then what's the difference between breast milk and baby formula?
I think we've mentioned it earlier. For those who do not have breast milk, we've talked about emotional support for the mother. Then the omugo, our grandmothers know it. You eat very well, you take a lot of fluid. Then when that does not work, then we'll move the medical way where we give you some support to produce and then to lactate. But no woman should say that she can't do exclusive breastfeeding or cannot breastfeed a child. The benefits, it is cost effective. It is very, very cheap, accessible every time is there. Imagine you're in the bus, the child is crying, is hungry, so you start looking for cup, spoon, everything just means baby. So and then the hygiene, the cup, the spoon, the hygiene. Then there are things that breast milk has that breast milk substitute. That's why they said substitute. It does not have the 100% of what breast milk have. We have things like the antibodies. They don't have it. They don't have those, and the breast milk substitute, the formula, the artificial formula, you don't have that antibodies. Then apart from that, there are probiotics too that are in the breast milk. Then there are things, when a baby, have you ever asked if your child is crying when you breastfeed, the child will just sleep? There are things in the breast milk that will naturally make the baby to sleep when you breastfeed.
We'll talk about the most important one. Yes, the one that Nani asked about postpartum depression.
Yes.
How does a mother, handle this? She's depressed and she is expected to breastfeed at the same time. How do we handle this?
Okay, I think for that, first of all, treatment for the mother. Treat the mother. When you treat her, she will be able to breastfeed. But for the meantime, you can't say absolutely 100% in some cases. But when it's getting to the point that she has to harm the baby, then you have to take the baby and protect the baby and then treat the mother. At that time, maybe you can introduce the artificial formula. But just know that the artificial formula does not contain all the nutrients that baby has compared to her natural breast milk. She will be able to produce something no matter what. She will have something she is eating. So even when that do see us, we still encourage you express. They are yet to come and feed, but you will get something from the breast. So you still give the baby that. Then you treat the mother. When you treat the mother, she's happy, she's fine. She'll put that don't breastfeed their babies.
I remember I had both the cracked nipple at the same time.
Yes, it's
after birth pain.